Hello, and welcome to the How I Tested That podcast. I'm your host, David J. Bland. I'm an author and advisor, and I'm fascinated with testing early-stage ideas. I've helped companies all around the world, and in this podcast, I connect with entrepreneurs and innovators who had the courage to test their ideas with real people in the market, with sometimes surprising results. Please join us as we explore the ups and downs of experimentation together. In this episode, I'm joined by Chad Holdorf. He's a longtime product and technology leader whose career spans John Deere, Salesforce, Pendo, and now Demandbase, where he leads AI initiatives across the company. We explore how AI is fundamentally reshaping the way modern product teams test, ship, and learn, from debugging customer issues directly against live code bases to product managers and support teams submitting pull requests themselves. Chad shares how tools like Cursor and Claude are collapsing traditional handoffs between product engineering and support, creating a much faster feedback loop between customer problems, experimentation, and shipped solutions. We also get into the messy reality behind enterprise AI adoption, including data quality, hallucinations, trust, evals, and why testing AI products inside real customer environments is much harder than most demos make it look. Chad gives us a peek into how his own workflow has changed, how his teams are learning by building in real time, and why this moment reminds him of the early days of Lean Startup where he and I first met. If you've been wondering what AI native product development actually looks and feels like inside a real company, this episode is for you. Enjoy. Welcome to the podcast, Chad.
David, great to meet you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I am so happy you're here. We first met, oh my gosh, it was like 20 years ago or something crazy like that. And we were at a conference and you were at John Deere doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And you just stuck with me. I was like, wow, this guy and the way he thinks, I want to keep tabs on him as he goes through his career. And then I followed your work at Salesforce, then Pendo, and now you're at Demandbase. And I just wanted to catch up with you and just chat with you about, leadership and testing and how you're approaching things and all this crazy AI stuff. But maybe before we jump into all that, if you could just give people just a little background on yourself and how you got here.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we met at some conference. I followed you in the early days of Agile. I thought you were one of the early thought leaders, and I still remember your blog. And I was like, oh, this guy is spot on. Like, totally gets it. But again, I'm at John Deere building GPS software to make tractors drive straight anywhere in the world. And we went all in on Agile. I still remember the day we had 800 people in a conference room getting all trained at the same day. We were all in Des Moines, Iowa, just wild times, and I spent most of my career at John Deere going out to the farm, testing tractor software every 2 weeks, summer or winter, right? That was crazy times, and then had an opportunity. Somebody heard from me at one of the conferences and offered me a job at Salesforce in San Francisco. And I was like, I will always be there. So yeah, I spent a good 7 years at Salesforce working everything from agile development to infrastructure to app development, deployed Hyperforce in many different countries, which was just wild times. And then I left there to join a smaller company at Pendo, really product-led growth. It was awesome to work there because, you're working at a company that's focused on product managers, and you're a product manager. So it's you're building for yourself, which is just amazing, And then I joined Demandbase because I wanted to learn more about go-to-market and how marketers and sellers work, And it's just, again, it's a different persona and just a different world. And now for the last year and a half, I've been leading all AI things at Demandbase. And I can't say, it's just fun. It is fun every day to take 3 steps forward and 5 back and 10 forward and 3, every different direction. I can't get enough of it. Feels like the early days of Agile of just trying to understand how things work, learning from others as quickly as possible. And you'll never learn it all, but if you don't keep trying, it's just, you won't learn what the latest is. And again, you learn something every day, and it's exciting to hear from what other people are thinking about it too.
Yeah, and you all just had a lunch at Demandbase. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I just got back from London. I was there for 7 days. We launched Demandbase AI, and I'm happy to show you what that is and talk a little bit more about what it is. But Demandbase is supports both go-to-market teams, so sales to, or from marketing to sales to operations. And there's just a lot of data that people have to look at to make decisions. And, looking at dashboards and 40 different screens and trying to make decisions, it's just too hard. And those days are probably gone. And we launched a capability where you can just interact, have a chat with all of your data from ads to firmographic to technographics. And you can just ask, like, how are my ads doing? Which ones should I invest in? Which accounts are progressing? Which ones are stalled? It's just a conversation. And like that then leads you to like what accounts you should focus on and which ones are like top of mind for people to like focus on. And it's just now a simple chat UI that leads you to different parts of the product. And I heard from customers all week that they're just like, oh, thank God. Like I don't have to like spend all day digging through data and like trying to understand which accounts to focus on because, there's just so many of them and you only have so much time of the day. And so customers were just absolutely ecstatic that we're just making their life so much easier. And I love going to these kickoffs I work the demo booth like all day long. I'm just like, bring another customer. Let's log into your tenant and just like use your data. And like, I don't have any problems of showing the good, the bad, the ugly. And it was amazing. Just one little story about going to London. So my trip to London, I was like, let's use Claude. Let's have Claude build me an entire agenda, or entire itinerary. I'm there for 8 days. Like, let's just let it rip. And it built me the entire itinerary, put it in a spreadsheet. I fed it into Claude code. It built me it's called a PWA, like a personal website, but basically a mobile app. It's working. I love it. It's telling me how awesome I did planning. Like on day 2, we go all the way up to like Notting Hill from down, I don't know, we were like 30 minutes away. We do a bunch of things. We had an awesome time. I wake up the next day and I'm looking at my itinerary and it's like sending me back up to Notting Hill. And I'm like, this stupid thing, like why didn't we do like location-based area planning and do all the things in the same day? Like why am I going back up there? It's just even Claude is not that good about like spatial mapping of different places all in the same area. And I am just like, so then every day I'm like, okay, I got to go back and look at my itinerary. It's awesome. It feels magical. But then like when you get down to the root of it, like it's still not great in certain areas. And how I was talking to customers about this, like if you and I were, let's say you lived in London and I was visiting and we had to go like drive somewhere. And the Google Map says turn left, but you've been at London your entire life, let's just hypothetically say it, and you say, no, turn right. Like, who's right? Google Maps for saying go left or you saying go right because you're local, right? And I met with a customer talking about our AI, and they wanted to run a campaign that said, like, let's advertise to all customers that have a headquarters in Germany. Okay. Sounds pretty easy, right? Like any AI should be able to do this. And what's crazy for me is our AI picked up a field in their CRM called HQ_locale. And it found the Germany companies that had a headquarters in there because that was their custom field that they've like built their entire like existence, right? So, but my customer support person didn't know that field existed, and they were trained to use a field called billing code equals DE. Okay, and that generates a different list to focus on. Okay, so our AI picks up this field that the customer was like, wow, but our customer support person's like asking me like, hey, I think it's wrong because this is my list. And, it just, who's right in those things? And like, so even thing like the location to like driving directions to like just advertising and fields, like it really opens up a Pandora's box on how do you measure accuracy of these things. I mean, I'm deep into evals, but like that stuff is just really, really interesting and really makes my head scratch on like how we should do it. But anyways, yeah, that was London talking about AI and trying to explain to customers like sometimes AI is smarter than somebody that doesn't know and what somebody else may think. And I think that's it's just like hard to explain to a customer. That's been my like last few weeks.
Sounds like a whirlwind. I mean, I love that you're all in. I think something that you said, though, really struck a chord with me. So when it comes to data, and this keeps coming up time and time again, we talk about testing and how we make decisions. I see a lot of companies feel as if they have to put AI into their workflows, and they're really trying to grapple with that. But they're layering it on top of data sets that are just like not connected. And what we're seeing, at least what I'm seeing, and I'm curious what you're seeing, I'm seeing people make decisions off different sets of data. And then when they get bubbled up, people are like, well, why'd you make that decision? Oh, because, similar to like your customer support story, I was looking at this and this is what the data told me. And so how much of this are you focused on when you think of how do we pull this data together in a way where, if we're going to hook Claude up to this or something, it has to improve our productivity. Like how are you thinking about data and testing and just that single source of truth?
Yeah, it's like we too thought oh, let's just put Claude on top of this data and it's going to be like easy. And we tried that. And again, another story, I showed it to a really large Fortune 20 company, how you can put AI on top of this data. And we didn't do any training. We didn't do any labeling. We didn't do any human in the loop. We didn't do anything. We just was like, oh, let's just try it. And the story, I showed it to a customer. And again, I typed in the system hey, tell me about this company that I'm meeting, and they are on the line or on the phone with me. They're on Zoom. And it said that the person that I'm talking to has visited our website lately, and they've been visiting our job page. Okay. And it says this person is likely to leave their company and join Demandbase. And the person is seeing it on the call with me. And I'm showing it to them. And he's like, I've never visited your webpage. I've never visited your job description page. And we don't even we don't even tag our job description pages. So it's then I type in, they're like, are you sure? And it's oh, sorry, my fault. And the guy's just laughing. And I was I'm telling him, listen, you can get a easy demo all day long of any company that's going to make it look like it's absolutely amazing. But when you use it with your data, you are going to find it's, I wouldn't say 100, but 99% wrong. And we just spend a lot of time labeling, testing, validating, improving our system prompts, looking at the SQL queries, doing everything thumbs up to thumbs down, and we spent a lot of time in the last 6 months doing everything we can think of to make our data accurate in underneath of a non-deterministic system. And it's just really hard. And it is really easy to fool somebody giving them a demo with whatever data you think and make it look amazing. But as soon as you give it to a customer and they sniff something out that's not right, they're just I'm gone. I don't need this thing. And there are some business, ours is just advertising and revenue, but that's still if you're off on which counts you're telling your sellers to focus on, it's lost revenue, lost pipeline, and that's just damn important is what I'm experiencing every hour.
Yeah, it feels like trust.
Yeah, and I thought it would be easy, but it's it is. Every customer can sniff it out within a few prompts. And we just spend a lot of time in beta, testing it, validating it, checking with the customers. Thank God we have great customers that have been giving us feedback for the last 2 months. And I just wish there was a way to fast forward it, but I haven't been able to find it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you being transparent like that. When I talk to companies and they're trying to add in AI to make user experience better or anything, I hear stories of, oh, but we had to put so many guardrails on this thing that we even wonder if it's still valuable by the time we were done with it.
Yeah.
And so it's not as trivial as it sounds. And I'm wondering, has this changed how you view this stuff in a leadership role? So when it comes to your process of getting tests out and getting things out quickly, what kind of impacts is having on your leadership, on your style of working? Anything you could share as insights of what you see changing?
Yeah, I have always been in the ship fast. What's the quote? If you're not embarrassed on your first, what's that quote? Remind me.
Oh, I think that was Reid Hoffman, wasn't it? You're not embarrassed, you waited too long. Yeah, it was too late.
Right?
Yeah.
It's tattooed on my arm. Anybody that knows me, I'm if you're not embarrassed, you ship too late, right? And I still do that a lot. I think you just need to spend more. It's still like, doesn't matter if it's AI or the old way, like you're still spending time in that beta moment or pre-release or whatever it is, trying to get that customer feedback, and making changes. And we still have immense amount of pressure to like ship it GA. And we just try to set really strict criteria about retention, activation. And if we don't have those numbers for the set of beta customers we have, we just don't ship it. And I think our sales team is glad that we're not just like, oh, just ship it to everybody and, hope that it lands. So that still like for me, it's like, doesn't matter if it's AI or not. You still have to go, at least I feel like I haven't been able to like get around that. But in terms of like day to day, I was telling you before this call, like every Friday I go through our customer support feedback requests. And every week I'm probably doing anywhere from like 10 to 50 merge requests. And we have Cursor. Cursor's great. We have Claude Code. We use that. It's great too. But I spend 80% of my time now in Cursor just like hooking it up to repos. And we have like 20 of them. I should show you. You should try to explain to users what we're looking at here. And like we have our own coding agent built into, how do I share? Okay, I'll show my screen so you can like, you can see what my screen looks like and try to
I will narrate what I'm seeing to you listeners.
Try to explain what the heck it is. Let's see. Okay, entire screen. Okay, here it is. So like we have this thing called DevBot. One of our engineers built it, and I don't know what's under the hood. So,
all right, I'm looking at a Slack channel at the moment.
And like, how many repos do you see me looking at?
That is crazy. It's just repo after repo. Wow.
And each of these threads are me investigating a problem that a customer has submitted. So like this one is our core platform one, right here that I'm showing you. And how many threads do you see? Do you tell the group that
we're 56? Wow.
56, okay? And like here's an agent that I'm working on. And how many are in here?
That's 67. This is insane.
This is my day. And I'm, like look here, I'm let's go up a little bit to what I was working on. I'm trying to fix this agent to get it to respond correctly. And, it's given me the exact places in the code where it's not joining data correctly, and it tells me what I should tell customer support, and then it gives me like, I type in some more questions that I got fed from Claude. And again, it's telling me all the places in our semantic layer that is not correct. And go down here, it's still looking through our code. And eventually I get to the point where I'm like, let's file a ticket, and like, I can't tell you, let me show you if I can show you the ticket. Like, you should read what this ticket is. And I'm not even 100% sure what it is, but I am sure engineering will love all of this context that they can understand about what I'm trying to do. And here's all the prompts. Here's all the prompts that I was trying, and it lists the acceptance criteria that they need to meet, and it talks about what's out of scope here. But this is probably like one of probably 50 that I did this week.
That's crazy.
That's my day, and I don't know. I've worked on Salesforce and Demand and even Pendo, and everybody has a large platform of like code. And everybody expects product just to know the answer to everything, right? And traditionally, like, I would go ask an engineer. I would send him a Slack and be like, hey, engineer, like, customer said this. And then guess what engineer says? Have them send me a screen recording. Then you call back the customer. You get a screen recording. 3 days have gone by. Then you, like, show the developer what they've seen. And then they're like, remind me, what is this problem related to? And then it's like, they're like, oh, yeah, we have a support article already on that. So then you like go find the support article. And then you're like, oh, but it feels I think it's out of date, and then you go back to the engineer. Oh, yeah, let me check the code. 3 more days go by, right? And it's like this like ping pong that the PM spends all their goddamn time like looking through. And I now just go straight to the code and I just ask whatever somebody's asking me. And I'm like, oh, here's what it says. And it's like 99%, almost, I haven't found a time where it's not wrong, and it tells me the code and it gives me the example. And now I'm training our customer support team to just use it. So they don't even have to ask me. Like, it's just great. Like, They log in here, you would laugh. You would come into our customer support team and they would show they know the repos now. And they're just, customer asks this, and it goes literally straight to the code, gives them the answers, and they're just, I think the next phase is they're going to start submitting merge requests. It's going to happen. I can guarantee it. They're going to find little problems, text changes, and I am 100% confident by the end of the year, they will be submitting MRs for changes to our team. And that frees me up. That frees lots of people up. And I don't know how engineers going to keep up with all the merge requests, right? That's another challenge. I'm sure there's a way, but it's just fun. I mean, I am learning so much about our code base. I'm learning how agents behave. And I'm literally just in my Slack channel asking questions anytime somebody has it. As you can see, just 67, 14, 41, 50. I mean, these are just 101. I was fixed. And you can see this is our analytics agent, which is part of my story today. And you can see 101. And I'm doing this on my flight home from London. I'm doing this on the walk in the morning. I'm doing it laying in bed. If something comes up, it's so much fun. So much fun.
It seems like it's just fundamentally reshaped how you approach your work. I mean, compared to what you described to me before, I mean, that was going into weeks. And now you're just having a conversation with the code and decentralizing it. It's completely reshaping things, it seems.
Yeah. I mean, I should show you, I submitted a merge request and just some engineer, you can see here, somebody tagged him and he just made the change. He's changes in dev, take a look. And tickets there. And I went into dev and it's working. And he's we'll ship it. We'll push it with all the other changes tomorrow. And he's do more. Let's fix this thing. Let's make our customers happy. Let's kill this market, And the engineers are do more, keep learning. And they're what do you want to learn, Chad?
Okay, I have to ask. How do you do this on your walk? What are you doing? What does that look like? Just explain to us.
Yeah, so it's this morning, somebody from customer support. Let me see if I can remember who messaged me this morning. Oh yeah, I think it was Anna. I think Anna sent me a message of she sent me some problem a customer was having. And I copied the problem. Okay, so I think she filed it we got a Slack feedback channel. Okay, so let me just show you, just like any team, here's, what do you see, David? Same old, a list of problems.
Yep.
Right? And Anna submitted some issue. Let's see if I can find the one. It doesn't matter which one it is because you can see that I'm working on all these. Oh, she submitted this issue here called Enable UTM Scoring in Engagement Points. I don't know what that means. And she's she gives me all of this information. So she types it all into this ticket, right? So I just copy everything. And again, I'm on my phone, on my dog walk at 7 a.m. She's based on the East Coast, I think. She files the ticket, signs it to me. I copy it. And then guess what? I head over to my dev bot in a different channel. And I literally I just go in there and I know it's in our platform. And I just go in there and I literally just paste it. And it comes back with here's what's happening.
Wow.
Here's the problem. Here's the code. And then it's would you like to do a root cause analysis? I'm sure, let's do one. And it spits back here's the problems. Here's what's happening. And then it's would you like me to plan a change? What do you say? Sure. Why not? Right? And I'm just again, walking dog, 6 a.m., still dark, walking around, downtown San Francisco. My dog's enjoying life. I'm outside. She's outside walking. And then it's it just responds with, here's the issue. Would you like me to submit an MR and assign it to the team? And what do you say? Sure. Right? Let it rip. And then it's here's the MR. It's assigned to the team. I get home. One of my team's hey, yep, this looks good. And they just they do a merge request, I think. I don't know. They do their engineering thing. I don't ask questions. I ping Anna back less than an hour, maybe 2. Depends on how long the walk was. I come in here and I'm Anna, here's the changes on dev. Do you want to take a look? And she's yeah, taking a look now. And she's cool. Looks like it works. And then I just tell, again, engineering in Slack, let it rip. And like it's deployed. We could do hundreds of those a day if we wanted to.
It just seems so different. I mean, you're in a leadership role. You've been in a leadership role for a long time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what does this do? I mean, okay, maybe a little more specific with that question. You are bringing, let's say, product people on, and you're trying to really embrace this and see all the ramifications of it. Like, what are you looking for? What do you see yourself looking for when you're hiring people now? Like, how does this change even the hiring process, how teams work with each other, like roles and responsibilities? It just feels like this has ripple effects across the entire org.
I've been down, just like my Agile days, I go down these rabbit holes and try to like understand how things work. And, you know, you and I saw it, like I was ahead of the curve. Like I could, you know, like when we were doing Agile, like we didn't have all the tools. So what did we do? We had a whiteboard. We're just, you know, find a blank wall, put some tape down the middle, right? Like put the sticky notes on the board, take down the cubes, like move engineering, product, and testing closer together, right? We don't need all the tools, but like we will figure out all the permutations. And then like when you teach like 2 or 3 people, they're like, oh, I get it. You know, like I get the Agile way, right? And I think every product person in engineering, design, they all want to stay relevant, and they want to, all product people that I've ever worked with have a growth mindset, and they just want to learn. They're going to learn, and they're going to like bootstrap and try things out. And most people have no like, oh, are we following the process? And, you know, are we checking with blah, blah, blah? You know, it's just like, yeah, this is so obvious. And when I work with my team, my team or other peers, or even like during interview process, like I think I just look for, are people willing to continuously learn and try things? And I think most people I have, and like I just remember like I think of somebody else on one of my other teams. He's like one of our, his name's Tom. He's on the expert team. Okay. So he helps our customers become expert on how to use our product. And he's super wild and knowledgeable about how our product works. And I showed him how he can look at the code and make his own changes. And he's never done development. He's never like tried to figure out how to fix something for engineering. And he would always try to explain to engineering how things should be, you know, and they're like 2 ships passing. They're not saying the right words. And he's now in Cursor like all day long. He's submitting changes. And that's like less than 2 months. He built a whole entire Cursor mock-up for our London Go conference that they showed live on stage. And I was sitting next to him and he's like, my hands are sweating. Is this what product feels like when they ship things? He's like, I don't know if I like this. And he's just like, this is amazing, you know? And like, he's watching them click on things. And it's like, it's a bootstrapped, you know, somewhat fake product. And he's like living on cloud 9. I mean, and again, he's like never been a software engineer, and he's on Cursor, Vercel. What's it called?
Vercel, yeah. Uh-huh.
Vercel and Git like all day now. And he's now making huge changes and giving me great ideas. And we used to spend time together writing stuff in Google Docs and trying to explain it and blah, blah, blah. And now we're just like, open up Cursor. Let's just make it. Let's just do it. Let's just get the MR out there. And I think it's just like the old days of Agile, where you would just work with people all day long rather than having these handoffs back and forth. And people are my design team, our engineers, our product people. They're trying to grasp it as quickly as they can. And when they see it, I see some teams now, the number of merge requests they're doing, I am just like, oh God, how fast can we possibly go?
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to a product leader. They used to coach at Realtor, Dave Masters. And he said, I'm shipping code, man. He's framing it like zones of work, you know, like there are different zones of work and you have to like adhere to a zone. I'm really hoping he writes more on it publicly, but I keep talking to product people. I keep talking to people who've never shipped code. And this has unlocked something for them. And I think we're just scratching the surface on this. Like when I first met you, I'm pretty sure I was trying to convince the Agile community that like Lean Startup was coming and you guys should listen. And you were like one of the few because you was like,
I get it. Don't tell me twice. Where do I get it, right?
This feels like that a little bit. Like back in the day, you and I hanging out and you were talking about like, hey, we got to have assumptions on this stuff. We got to validate this stuff. It's not just about iterative delivery. It's about the outcomes and the impact. And this, I mean, it's different, but feels similar.
The very same. And you and I know where this is going to go. Like the days of Agile, because you can imagine now there's going to be like certifications. There's going to be like, conferences of like how to set this up. Like I can see it a mile away. And, there are some people that learn that way by having a session and recording and like learning it every year. But, and you and I back in the day were like, somebody comes out with some new Agile tooling. We're like, well, let's try it. Like, why not? What's it going to hurt? Right. And I just think that that's what the new way is. I was going to show you like what my cursor looks like and just have you be like, what is this guy doing? Like this is my...
Okay, I'll be honest with our listeners here. I have still not gone all in on Cursor. Now, Claude Code has pulled me in, but Cursor, maybe if I had started there, but all right, pitch me on Cursor. Like what is it you're doing here with Cursor?
Yeah, I mean, so my Claude Code that I use personally, like it's usually for a few repos. Just another story. I had to do my taxes this last week or whatever it was. And I did a bunch of like Goodwill donations of clothes, right? And you got to keep track of that. And there used to be this website called It's Deductible. Do you ever remember It's Deductible? It was like an Intuit. No. It got shut down. It got shut down like 3 years ago. And it was the simplest thing. You would type in like men's shirt and it would find it and you would just be like, yes, 10, or 5. And it would just build a spreadsheet and like take the fair market value. And then you could just ship that to your tax person and have them like enter it. Well, they shut it down and I never could find one. So I built it on my flight. Okay. But it's just one repo and you're just going back and forth and like, it's pretty like isolated. You're doing a deployment. There's not any other repo dependencies. I don't have to like think about 6 or 7 repos, but this is my cursor and you can see like on the left-hand side, like I've just like in my Slack channel, I have a bunch of different repos and sometimes I have to ask questions across multiple repos. I haven't tried to figure out how to do that in Claude, right? To ask a question across many repos to be able to like make a change to 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 repos at one time. What I like about Cursor is like I can see all of my repos over here on the left, okay? And then again, it's very similar to Claude that like here is all of I'm just having a conversation and on the right, best case I can do is I usually can have like 6 or 7 parallel tasks going on at the same time, right? So these are all they call them agents, but they're just like make changes to many different repos, right? So if I've seen some of our engineers here, at Demandbase and they have like 10 to 15 of these going on at the same time. I don't know how they keep track of them, but again, like when you're in the groove, like, you're firing them off, and I'm not that advanced on using it, but I know how to use it. And like, there's one repo over here that's a new team that's doing some innovative stuff. I'll just type in a simple example in it. I'm not going to say the name of the project, but it's over here on the left. And I just simply say like, give me a summary of this repo and explain the product vision. And I'll just I'll just say this name of this project, right? And I'll just ask it. Normally I would go ask the PM, I would schedule a meeting, right? They would give me a Google Doc, might be updated, it might not be, might not include all the questions that I have. They might not know what's got latest checked in. It's just a big delay, not getting right to the source. But now just with Cursor or anything, like it's given me a summary of everything.
Oh, wow. That was fast.
Right? Here's the vision, right? And I could ask all kinds of questions about this. It's given me the architecture plan. I'd even ask about the architecture. It's given me use cases. I guess I should have asked, right? But I might have had to like do that on the fly with the person, right? These use cases change, every month, every week. And it just tells me what it is. That's just amazing. And, and what I do with my team most weeks is I'm just going to show you like this is the future where I want to take the product. This is built in Cursor. And I have links that go directly to like, do you want to read more about the vision? I just put it all here. They can read it, and if you scroll down here to the bottom, like if I want to put this in a Google Doc, I just click here and it puts it in a Google Doc, right? And my team and I go through flows, like use cases and how things will work. And it's just, I could build one of these in like 10 minutes, and like this, as you can imagine here, like these things across the top are just going to be agents working with humans on a list of objects. And you're just handing work off, right? And guess what? Like that probably will also show up in something like Slack. And I just prompted and said, like, make it look like Slack. And I show this to customers all the time. And they're like, I get it. I get where you're going. But like, how much time this would have taken with the design team and back and forth and like building a mock-up and creating a steel thread and writing down the steel thread and like on and on and on. Now, my designer and I, we just are like, we got an hour. Let's let it rip, and she gives me great ideas, good suggestions. I meet with some of our users, they have questions, and guess what? I just rip them into Cursor and like, just let it rip. And then, David, what's wild is if I show you back here in Cursor, like, let's see if there's an example, like, I will just tell Cursor to make this an epic in Jira so our engineers team can tie the work to. And I just have an MCP to Jira, and I don't ever have to go into Jira. I'm like, put it in there, let them hook up the tickets, let it go, like we're off and going. So my engineers are like, I get it, I see it, I understand it, I can see your repo, I might use some of it. And they're thankful that it's so clear to them where we're going and what they need to do first and why we're doing it. And they can go through the visuals, they can read the description. I can send it to our CEO, I can send it to my boss, I can send it to anybody, and they can click on it, they can send me questions. And I had one today. She's like, our CMO. She's like, I want to get into Cursor. I'm like, oh my God, we're our CMO. Can you imagine it, David? Like, when have you ever heard a CMO? Maybe, I don't know, but a CMO wanting to get into Cursor to like build their workflow, I can guarantee it will happen by the end of the year that she will be in Cursor having a conversation. We'll be in the same room and we'll be building out her workflow that she thinks that we need to do for a specific customer. I mean, she sent me this one and I was starting to build it. When I say build it, like just think through, and she was like, yep, no, change this. Oh, this doesn't make sense. Let's not do that one. And that's crazy.
Yeah, there was a time in my career where I just came out of my first startup I joined, and we were like software as a service, but it was before, I'm dating myself with this. We were called an application service provider, like back in the day. And we literally, like, it was a point in my career, it was early on, and we were like, crap, we don't want people logging in. Like, we want them to authenticate, and how do we do that? Nothing's built. And we just literally like rolled our own single sign-on and all this stuff. And there was a time when I came out of startup, I joined our startup, I was like, you know what? Maybe I want to be an API developer. Maybe I just want to dig into that. It was not for me. I gave it my shot. But like, this is the first time probably since then that I come back and I go, I kind of get it. Like MCP, maybe I'm not logging into all these things anymore. It reminds me a little bit of how disruptive that was back in the day, where we were kind of like, how do we connect this to this? Oh, it doesn't exist. Let's build it. Let's do it. And so with you, and I really appreciate you being transparent and just showing me all this stuff today. Where do you think this is going? Like, where's the constraint moving around inside orgs that go in on this? Like, where's this headed? I mean, I know you can't predict the future, but you've seen a lot and you're in this. Where do you see this going?
I think what I'm noticing, again, at this moment, it probably will move around as always. Like, I think, again, I hate to say this or hate to think about it this way, or maybe it's fine, but like back in the days when we started Agile, we did 2-week sprints, right? And, engineering got fast. And then guess what? Like the training department, the enablement team, the sales team, they're all just like, whoa, wait a minute. We used to ship every 6 months. We had like long enablement sessions and blah, blah, blah. We could predict and blah, And I think most go-to-market teams got familiar with the 2-week sprints and incrementally blah, blah, blah. But now it's coming at them 10 times faster and 10 times more. Like we're having AI pricing conversations and token utilization, followed by like 11 new major features coming out. I see our customer support team and our sales team like, what is all of these things? On one side, they're like, yeah, more selling, but on the other side, it's like, I got to explain this to our customers. But I've been training, like I said earlier, training our customer support team that they can now use this Slack channel to talk directly to the code. And they can ask questions, but I'm not writing any more enablement documents for you. Those days are over. And once you show it to them, most of them, their light bulb goes off like, I get it. Yep, I get it. I don't need enablement. You gave me the repo. I'm good. Whenever a question comes up in my head, straight to Slack, ask a question, get an answer. And the really, really forward-thinking customer support team is just like, this is awesome. Like our technical account management team, they're just like, I hate to say it this way, like they're like, we will buy more Cursor. We'll pay for more for Cursor because that will scale us. And I wish Cursor was funding this. Can we do a Cursor podcast? Or, is this where you do like this episode sponsored live?
Sponsored by Cursor.
Yeah, right. Like go to david.com/ Cursor for your 20%. We should totally add that. Do you think we can get that sponsor? Anyways,
you know what? It's time. It's time. I just want to thank you so much for hanging out. I mean, there's so much to unpack here. What you showed me, just blew me away. Everything from back in the day when we were looking at Agile and Lean Startup and saying, what does this mean for the industry, to your work at Salesforce and your work at Pendo. And we didn't even really dive into that today. We just got into what excites you now and helping you understand, helping you explain to our listeners what the ramifications are. Because I don't think this has hit everybody evenly yet, and they're just starting to see this. If people listen to this and they want to reach out to you, like what's the best way for them to get in touch?
I hand out my cell phone number all the time. Like just text me. Find me on LinkedIn. That's probably what I look at most. Chad Holdorf. I don't read emails. I'll occasionally go onto LinkedIn. If you're in San Francisco, like I go in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes Thursdays. Reach out, have coffee with me. I'm game to, like always, I want to learn just as much as anybody else. So if you're in the Bay Area, like find me. I work in our Demandbase office is in the LinkedIn building. Great. There's a great Equator office, coffee place right downstairs. So bring your laptop. Let's bring Claude with you. Like let's just rip on some changes. But yeah, just find me on LinkedIn. That's usually the fastest way. Chad Holdorf. You can find me there. I'll try to respond. In a fair amount of time. That's probably the easiest that I have right now. If you go to chadholdorf.com, like I had Claude trying to build me a website on there. The form doesn't work, but maybe I could do that. I should be saying like find me on Git at that's probably the new thing,
soon.
right? Like check out my repo on Git, of my new open source deductible website. I just put it on there today. Like I've got some Claude skills I think on there too. Do they have messaging on Git? Like, can you message somebody?
I just released a Claude skill about a month ago, and so I'm getting up to speed on it as well.
Does somebody send you like a merge request? You're like, hey, send me a merge request. That's the way we can. Is that the new like?
I have a hard time. Like people start asking me like, oh, but can we change this and this and this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm not sure. So I'm dealing with that now. I'm dealing with that aspect of open source.
That's hilarious. It's like almost it's like somebody texting you, but now they send you an MR, and you're like, what am I? Is this the way we talk now? Like, we don't say hi or we don't text hi. We just send you an MR, and like that's our way to talk to each other now.
Unfortunately, that's where we're headed.
Love the podcast. Here's an MR. You're like, what? I gotta review this thing. Could you? Oh man, that'd be hilarious. So yeah, find me on Git. I guess I don't.
All right, we'll put the links in the description and in the episode. Hey, it's always fun catching up with you. I think I might hit you up on that San Francisco trip. Maybe I'll bring over and we can hack on Claude together. So
please,
I just enjoy learning from you and hanging out with you, and I'm sure our listeners did as well.
Yeah, I mean, if we can build something to learn and have somebody use it, it's the fastest way to learn. Like building things is just my way of learning as quickly as possible. All
right. Well, I appreciate you so much, Chad. And maybe we'll do a bonus episode where we're live coding from a cafe somewhere.
We should get people together. Like everybody come to downtown San Francisco at the Equator office from 11 o'clock, and bring your laptop with Claude, and like we're going to all build something. Come on, let's do that. That would be fun.
All right. We'll make it happen. All right. Thanks so much, Chad, for being a part today. Thank you for listening to another episode of How I Tested That, where we share stories about experimentation, tips, and tricks. If you learned something new, please recommend us to a friend or colleague. And remember, keep testing your ideas.